Hey folks, it's Jeremy, and I am on the brink of finishing the experience grind for my characters. I have been losing my entire mind, but I am here, and so I thought, since I have the entire Final Fantasy playthrough as post-commentary, that I would just do the live part. This entire time I actually have been dreading that I mess something up, and so 7 of my 8 characters are okay. However, I am not sure about any of them ever, even though I'm constantly reading the same numbers over and over again. I'm just like, you know what? If I mess up, I mess up. And why not just capture that reaction live? So the yawn process, which you will have heard described already, is you want to make sure that you, for me, this is my approach, make sure that once characters are max level, they are hit with virus. That way we can still use them to kill the yawns, but they will not get experience. This allows us to funnel the experience into other characters. So of course, with Zidane being in the party all the time, I made sure that Zidane goes first. Then I decided who are my most optimal characters to use for yawn grinding, which is the most experience given per enemy in the game. And so I decided, hey, you know who's a great option? Quina. Why? Because Quina has half MP and frog drop, and those two together allow me to spam quad 9s without issue. After stealing infinitely, pretty much, Zidane's thievery powers up as well. And then finally I was like, how do I defeat a large number of enemies at the same time? And I landed on Garnet, because as we pick up more of the gemstones, they power up Eidolons. So why not go ahead and give Garnet max Garnets, haha, and that will power up Bahamut and guarantee quad 9s. So then I just go ahead and sweep the maps. If it's one enemy, as long as Freya doesn't attack or get virus, we're fine. And then from there, I just lather, rinse, repeat. Previously, I was using Night with Quina, which will put the yawns to sleep, and then I can slowly do it. But after practicing for about 20 hours, I'm pretty confident in what I can do. And here is going to be the moment of truth. So I'm not calculating live, but I do know that this is the last switch that I need to do for perfect stats. Again, I hope anyway. So and apparently, and I don't know fully like what each thing gives, but I'm, you know, under the impression, based on the stat guides and whatnot, this is the last thing. So just, and I always panic and double check all the information. I'm supposed to do this last switch at level 98 is what I decided. So yeah, this is where all my nerves come from behind the scenes. I'm constantly like, okay, it says, you know, okay, 1 level on this piece of gear is all I need. Okay, we'll see. And so, yeah. I'm just finally glad that it's, I guess I'll say, over. The game is not over, my file is not complete yet, but this is the most grueling part. What makes this so grueling? Well, if the purpose of my file, the purpose of this challenge was to get the Excalibur II, it was to get a 100% file, and finally, it was to get perfect stats. I will go through an entire a clip, I'll say, or video just talking about how to get perfect stats if necessary. But for me, perfect stats is Quina getting combined stats, because Quina is a mixed character. I pretty much should have focused more on magic, in my opinion, just because that's what Quina does for me. But a mixed, you know, combined Quina makes sense to me. Everyone else is what we call ordered, meaning I prioritize their strongest offensive stat after Spirit. Yeah, okay, I'm like barely off the level 99. Alright, this is the last yawn. And you see how low my stats are, like, or low my MP is. I've been, you know, lather, rinse, repeat, heal the MP, get everyone back, keep going. Amaranth was really fun to use because of chakra, but that's it. Okay, here we go. So I have to strip the character, confirm the stats, and then we're... I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Okay, Freya's perfect stats are 29 speed, 66 magic, 71 strength, and 50 spirit. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I really am. The final thing I actually need to do, which I'll show later, is I do have to master Arc. That is the last ability that I need to do. Of course, this item is from either Master Synthesis or beating Ozma. Of course, I already beat Ozma, as you saw. Therefore, we're good. So yeah, I am so pleased. I am very tired of just yawns. And imagine I wasn't doing speed up, which is why I made sure I didn't restrict myself, because if I wasn't doing speed up, I would be way behind compared to this. So I am quite pleased. I have nothing else to say. I've done the Chocobo beach side quest, so that means when I go to a beach, it will just heal me like a tent, or not a tent, because tents don't heal all the way. Healing at an inn. So there, everyone's back. Yay. And then what I've been doing with everyone is just giving them as high of stats as possible, because why not, you know? And so I've, you know, put on all the passives I could that are beneficial. And then I just decided I would throw on things that stop status effects. Again, it's not going to matter because it's absolute endgame at this point, because everyone has max stats. I might as well do it now, you know? Let's feel the moment. So, for me, I have to show Garnet learning Arc, of course, but for everyone, I made sure to do ordered perfect stats. Now, I'm fairly certain it's not perfect health and perfect MP, but that's minor to me. I care more about the actual stat, which is their speed, their strength, their magic, and their spirit. Please note, for anyone unaware, that spirit is the most vital part of this entire process. Spirit makes everything better. Specifically for me, it's auto-regen. You auto-regen so fast because of spirit. Obviously speed is important, but auto-haste buffers that a little bit. And then so does the weight menu tricks. And then lastly, you just have strength and magic. Strength actually helps your health, and then magic helps your MP. So ideally, if you're doing a perfect stat file, you want to make sure you put your optimal stat first, or your combined stats, which doesn't really matter that much at the end of the day. If you do ordered, in my opinion, I would have focused specifically on maxing out my offensive stat first. So I would have maxed the strength first and then switched to other gear. That way I would have reached the top pinnacle health that is needed. However, it's neither here nor there. For me, it's all about the number. With that said, we have Zidane here. And Zidane is obviously in the main party for me because of thievery and stealing. Then we have Quina. Quina's been so helpful and instrumental in this entire run, and I really appreciate it. But in my final party, I'm just going to go for strict offense. Quina has, similar to Zidane, the frog drop, as I mentioned before. If you eat enough frogs, it's the number of frogs times Quina's level. And I think it's like 100 or something like that. Like it's 100 damage per frog. So if you get 100 frogs and Quina's level 99, you'll be about 9,900 damage. So you just need ultimately 101 frogs. In my run, because I like the number, I just got 123 frogs. It allowed me to max frog drop earlier as far as damage goes, and then over time it's just about the stats at that point. Garnet is not usable for me at the end of the day just because it takes so long for her damage because she's summoning, but she's very important for mass clearing enemies. Yay, thank you, Garnet. And her magic stat is crazy high, which is really awesome. And then Freya, she will be in my party as well. Similar to Zidane and Quina, her dragon crest, as you saw a few times, actually powers up as we kill dragons. So part of the 100% is to make sure that dragon crest does max damage as well, which is just by killing, I think, 99 or 100 dragons. I have definitely killed way more than that because I use grand dragons to buffer experience if I need to get a certain level but don't go too far. Perfect. I'll do the gear and whatnot in a perfect file, but I just might as well show the others. So, Quina, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And then Garnet, like I said, those two are going to be out. And then the next two we have Vivi. So Vivi actually, sadly for me, is the weakest of the characters offensively. For some reason I couldn't get Flare to max out until the very end, and that's just not good enough. And of course we have Doomsday, which hits everyone. So if I was absorbing Shadow or nullifying it with the Egoist armlet, sure, fine, I could just spam Doomsday for fun, but it takes too long, and it's just not in-game power in my brain anyway. But Vivi absolutely is my favorite character in this entire series, so I love Vivi. I'm glad. I actually put Vivi up first to level 99 after my main party for that reason. He's just great. We also have Eiko, and I did actually focus on her primary stat, so that's why she has way more MP than Garnet, even though Garnet has more magic. Huzzah! And yes, I have verified every single character as they got to 99, so I don't have to panic at the very end. I actually have reset and lost like, I think 11 total hours so far. I had to fix actual disc playing, which none of you saw and I didn't talk about. I also had to fix Garnet because I messed up her level by like 1, I think, 1 or 2. So I had to reset 6 hours for that. And then I also messed up Steiner. No, I messed up Vivi as well. So I have had to reset a lot. And that's why we do safety saves, of course. So like every time I do something, I make a save just in case. So unfortunately, I did not make a safety save of a lot of stuff. I felt I knew what was going on, and then of course I messed up. So I always recommend a safety save if you're trying to go for very specific things. And finally, the last two people, we have our Steiner and Amaranth. So this is what I want to use as my end game, just to close out the chapters of the game. We'll have Zidane, Steiner, Freya, and Amaranth. The health is really cool too, because we get to see how much spirit really matters here, like how beneficial it is. But from a stat perspective, Steiner, yay, thank you Steiner. Very awesome to have almost quad 9 health. I feel like he could have quad 9 health, but you know, it's fine. And then finally, we have Amaranth. Amaranth is, to me, like the pocket best character because of classic Final Fantasy characters like the Monk and Ninja, where he can do throw activities, he can heal people with chakra and revive. He has a very cool, I'll say, kit, or, you know, list of skills. Flare is awesome. I think that is just a great thing to have. Amaranth, of course, is also physically strong too. Overall, just, I think, a dynamite character. Steiner makes the most sense because of the Excalibur II. It is the highest physical attack weapon in the game. It's very special and awesome. And of course you can power it up because it's holy. It's great. And of course, you can also use abilities. So even if you're not just going to physically attack, Steiner does have lots of cool abilities, including Shock and Klimhazard. Cool. Like, so many really awesome things. So this is what I think of as an in-game party. I'm not even sure what I was doing with Steiner here, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's it. I am actually done. I don't even know what to do. I'll probably just chill. There are a few more things I have to do behind the scenes to complete the file. One of those is actually jump rope, which has broken a lot of people because it is one of the most difficult things to do in this game. I agree. Jump rope is very difficult because it switches up the timing. So I will be practicing forever, it feels like. And we'll see how many hours it takes me to get jump rope correctly. But the goal is to get the King of Jump Rope key item. That is the last key item I need to obtain. And that is from getting 1,000 jumps in a row. It takes about, I think I heard it takes, or I read it takes about 8 minutes to do. If you obviously get it correct in one go. So I will have 8 minutes. But who knows how long it takes me behind the scenes. Wish me luck, okay? Wish me luck. But what I like to do is, if I put everyone in the front row, because I can, because they're all going to take a hit. For me, I was just thinking about how I do endgame, like how I would do the endgame fight. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to put on, like, air quote, strongest gear from everyone. That way we can see the final equipment as well. You can see I have, there's just lots of really good pieces of gear, especially the ribbons, especially the protect rings. So I have so many of those. I could get another protect ring. I could actually get 8 or more from doing digging, but ribbons are really nice for absorbing the elements. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about putting certain things down. But, you know, ribbons are nice. Yeah. Then we have Steiner, of course, with the Excalibur II. Huzzah. We have Grand Helms for both Steiner and Freya. We have Grand Armor for Steiner and Freya. If we want to, again, we can drop the Protect Ring. I like Protect Ring in general because it does reduce elemental damage. I'll do the ribbons, and then whatever happens, happens. In the final fights, it does make more sense to do the dual, the Kaiser Knuckles because of the wind element. You can buff wind with gear, but honestly, it doesn't matter at that point because you have so much power from being level 99. It really wouldn't matter. But we'll do, you know, there's 4 ribbons. Technically, you put ribbons on your spellcasters, so the people who do ribbons are Vivi, Aiko, and Garnet. The others would just do protect rings. So I'll probably go that route and just put on protect rings for everyone because they are so good. But I do have 4 ribbons. In my brain, I think do 4 ribbons on spellcasters and then 4 protect rings on my physical folks. That way, it just seals the deal as far as we have everyone accounted for. So yeah, let's do that. With Quina being balanced, there's no real issue if you decided to do ribbon versus protect ring. And of course, you can also keep in mind you don't have to use this gear. It's very strong, but it's not required. And for me, I know the Mace of Zeus is the highest physical attack, but the Octagon Rod has absorbed water wind. I was always curious about that because the Octagon Rod absorbs water and wind just like the ribbon does. So you don't need to put a ribbon on Vivi. You could just do Octagon Rod plus, then do Protect Ring. But, we'll do the strongest, air quote, strongest thing. Now here you have to decide between Garnet or Aiko getting the Tiger Racket because there's only one. So for me, it doesn't really matter. I do Tiger Racket on Garnet because she is best girl. And then Aiko can get her flute. And reminder, I will go and get the Arc Mastered for the final file review, where I'll do all of the stuff. Alright, last one. So here you can see there's those are the Angel Flute and the Priest Racket. But Angel Flute, like the name, super great. And there you have it. Everyone has their gear on. We are ready to take on literally anything, including Ozma, even though Ozma's gone. And that's everyone. So, this is just a little impromptu talk through about the final file. The next will be King of Jump Rope. And then I do have some achievements on the PS4 that I'm just not going to show because it would take me forever. One of the achievements is killing 10,000 enemies. I don't know how long that's going to take. But I've killed all the enemies to level up. And I still don't have the achievement. So I know there's a lot more to do. However, I'm not upset by that. I will definitely do it. Sorry about that. And then I'll be able to say, I have a fully completed Final Fantasy IX, all achievements, all key items that aren't consumable, all items, perfect stats, Excalibur II, happiness. And then I will kick Kuja's face in, and then we'll see what happens after that. Game over? Question mark? We'll have to find out. So, thank you so much for listening to my level 99 discussion of my file. I'm very excited about this. I hope you have enjoyed the journey of the story and seeing me complete this game. Don't forget to like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe for more, click that bell to get notified every time I upload a new video, and you can interact with me on Twitter at MrYaw2. See you on the next video. Bye!